Alright, all you video gamers, welcome to yet another Omega Trial and Error Super Boss Slaying Edition of the DJ Smokey's True Video Game Stories. And with a title like that, we decided to go with the video game none other than Final Fantasy 15. Technically the Royal Edition, but we decided to just go with Final Fantasy 15 since it could fit in the box. And I guess with that said, folks, I think it's time for us to get ready to sharpen our swords, fuel up the regalia, and get ready to fight an enemy by thinking outside of the box we just mentioned as we get ready to paint the picture. Alright, this video game story began approximately 7 months ago when I decided to play the Royal Edition of this game after not playing it for well over 3 years. And along the way from this magical journey, besides experiencing old things that I remembered about it, I would also run into a couple of new things, including boss enemies that would show up on a daily basis around town that I would try to find on the map, saying, "Man, I didn't kill that thing yet. Let's go over on that side of the map and take care of it." And slowly but surely, as I kept taking care of these ultra powerful enemies, I would not only get a chance to run into some brand new weapons, but also get some brand new powers along the way that I would happily be able to test on every single enemy and creature that gave me trouble in the daytime and the nighttime when I played this game 3 years ago, and was even able to take out a whole series of demons at the low level of 35, with the demons being at least 5 to 10 levels higher than I was, realizing that I was on one hell of a power trip that I wasn't gonna wake up from. But little did I know, folks, I would be in for one hell of a wake-up call once I reached the final part of this game, which required me to head back home to my kingdom. I would have to fight not only a 3-headed dog that I got a feeling came from Hercules because it left me with a thread of health left after I was able to finally kill it after it took me 15 minutes, but then I had to fight one of the most dangerous creatures that this game has ever seen in the form of something called Omega. Now, I'd never heard of Omega. I played several other Final Fantasy games and never even heard mention of this said creature, but I went over to the forums and they would tell me how dangerous it is, and even during the game itself, one of the guys would tell me that this creature was a god killer and was not to be messed with. And after hearing so many people telling me how dangerous this creature is, my inner RPG, I have to kill it because it thinks it's better than me, immediately activated and say, yeah, I'm gonna put that to the test. Let's see what god it can kill today. And this creature would appear from out of nowhere, and I don't even know why in the world I'm calling it a creature. It was a mechanical Terminator-like robot that flashed through the wall, appeared on the other side, and tried to kill us with laser beams and this giant energy dome shield that really did take us out with less than 3 shots. All of us just killed us and turned us into mincemeat. And after that experience, I would realize, yeah, we need to up our game. We need more power. We need to figure out a way how to take out this creature, and I'm not gonna beat the final boss of this game until I do. So I would set out on a mission, going to all the different places around the city and all around the world to try to figure out where in the world I could find something strong enough to take out Omega. And currently my level, while I was on this search, was at 105. And I was so upset about the fact that I couldn't beat him and put everything to a screeching halt, I had to look online to figure out what power was I missing, searching all over the place, that I still wasn't able to take him out. Until one fateful day, some helpful person online decided to give me a little bit of advice and told me, have you tried searching for the true power of the king? and I would tell him, I already have the true power of the king. I have the king of the ring, or the ring's king, the different swords from the different tombs. There's no more true power than that. And he would show me a picture of this ancient dungeon that was just near the start of the game and near one of the starting dungeons I had to go to. And he would say, and for some strange reason in my head, it sounded like he sounded like Gandalf or something. It would tell me, go to that dungeon and find the true power of the king there. And I would venture off to this one statue. Next thing I know, I would start glowing and would get this special power that reminded me of something from out of Kingdom Hearts. Because whenever I would activate this skill, not only I would float in the air, all of the other partners that I had would just sit back and be invincible to all forms of attack, but I would be able to use a sword that allowed me to shoot a beam of light at an enemy by cleaving them in two, another attack that allowed me to just throw a whole bunch of swords at my opponent, and even an ultimate attack that would guarantee sure death if you were hit by it at least once during the fury of the attack of the true power of the king. And after unlocking these powers and testing them out on a couple of the demons in the middle of the night, I would slowly but surely make my way back to where Omega was located, where he warped through the wall to try to kill me, and would be prepared to take on this creature and kill him with the greatest ease with the new powers I got. But little did I know, getting these powers was just the tip of the iceberg of my problems while I tried to take it on. Because while fighting this creature, after it reached half health, it would start to go haywire and malfunction, its shield would pop up, it would teleport from one side to the next, shoot laser beams out of its mighty beam out of the front of it, and would even be able to release noxious gas to turn people into stone. And that was just a couple of the attacks it was able to do along the way, leading to what it did. And Prompto would say, we're dead, aren't we? I'm sure we're dead. And me saying, come on, Prompto, get a little bit of confidence in yourself so we can try to kill this thing. But I was a little bit worried as well, seeing the fact that I was down to half the amount of revivals and elixirs I had when I first started to fight this creature, and was really starting to get worried that I was not going to be able to beat it until I kicked things into overdrive by throwing down magical grenades to try to take this thing down a peg or two, and was able to do it till I got it down just to the O. And once it reached that O in Omega, it realized that things were just about nearing the end. It would kick things into overdrive, teleporting, shooting rockets, firing unibeams, and everything it possibly could to try to take me out. Only for me to finally get the last laugh on this creature by taking out the big oversized Sephiroth sword I was able to get from one of the dungeons and cleave that thing in half, for it to blow up into 1,000 pieces, and for the classic music of Final Fantasy to kick off by going for it to say I finally was able to beat it, and Prompto said, we did it! Oh my god, we did it! And I felt the same way, saying, yes! After finally beating this creature that took me well over an hour and 45 minutes to kill, I would not only celebrate my kill, but I would also look on the ground to see what sort of special item it would drop, and it would drop not only a certificate, but a piece of its armor that I wondered for weeks on end, what in the world does this thing do? For me to finally put it on and get my answer, for it to actually unlock my true power, but at the same time lower my health to about 1,000 hit points, for me to just run around being the almighty glass cannon of Final Fantasy 15, but at the same time one of the most powerful things that they've ever seen in this world. And I guess with that said, wraps it up for another Omega Trial and Error Super Boss Slaying Edition of the DJ Smokey's True Video Game Stories. And with that, we'll be back with more right after this. So stay tuned.